All right. Welcome to DNA Part 2. Yes, you're talking about the history of the discovery of DNA. Once again, fascinating things. DNA has been around for, as long as life has, but kind of crazy to think that maybe we didn't necessarily know about it as for very long there. So, today we're going to talk about the structure of DNA. Should be very straightforward. Definitely an important day to know what's going on. I should say with this unit, a lot of things are going to build on one another. So if you don't understand, today's stuff, tomorrow's stuff's going to be that much harder. And so make sure that you're going through and you are understanding the basics before moving on here. So, what does DNA do? We should know this by now. It codes for your genes, which is a word we haven't talked about, but essentially your traits, whether it's eye color, hair color, height, those kinds of things, your heritable traits are in your DNA. And they're made of repeating subunits called nucleotides. Here are three different graphic or pictorial representations of the structure of DNA. One on the right's a computer model that is, most closely what it probably looks like. The one in the middle is kind of broken down chemically, how are things attached, and the one on the left shows kind of in between of the two there. So those nucleotides, it has three parts, right? It has three parts. It has a phosphate, represented by this little gray sphere. It has a deoxyribose, which is also a type of sugar, right? Anything that ends in ose tends to be a sugar. And then on the end here, sticking out, it has a nitrogenous base. Okay, so it's a base that's nitrogen based. And then we're going to simplify it, and the options for that base are A's, T's, G's, and C's. Okay, it's adenine, thymine, guanine, and cytosine. That'll be on the next slide. But that part is actually the pieces of code. Okay, so the phosphate and the sugar make up the backbones, so the two sides of DNA. And then the base in the middle is what actually is your code. So here is a look at it all. I move my face. All right, down here. So if we look at our sketch that someone more talented than me drew, here the blues on the outside, those are the deoxyribose and the phosphates. And then the colors in the middle are our base pairs. Okay, now if you'll notice a trend here, if we were together, be building a model of DNA today, but a trend is that A only fits in with T and G only fits in with C. Okay, chemically, they are like puzzle pieces and they only have certain ways that they fit together. That's going to be a very important thing. So maybe highlight that. That's probably the most important thing in the notes today, is knowing that. As you are, okay, the sides are phosphate and sugar, and then in the middle there's a weak hydrogen bond that's keeping everything zipped together. So A bonds with T, G bonds with C, and it's the hydrogen bonds that are zipping those together. Now, how it works, okay, how it works is that, um, sorry, that's gonna be a practice assignment in your homework tonight. How it works is which combination of letters that you have, A's, T's, G's, and C's, determines what traits you might have. Okay, so here's a very too oversimplified example because genes tend to be several thousand base pairs long, but a particular combination will code for eye, blue eye color. A slightly different combination will instead build a green eye. Okay, so what combination of A's, T's, G's, and C's you have there it is, your literal genetic code. I don't know if anyone's into computer coding, but for computer coding, we use binary code. So it's a series of ones and zeros. For DNA, we have a quaternary code, four inputs, A's, T's, G's, and C's, and the combination and the order of those is going to be the instructions to build you. Okay, and unless you have an identical twin, your set of letters is unique to you. There is not another combo out there that is the same as you in there. So it's always an interesting fact there. So think of, last slide here, think of those DNA bases like letters. that you can mix around to form words, and those words you can mix around to form sentences. And so essentially the book of you or the blueprint of you are endless with quotations around it, because technically, yeah, there is a finite end to it. But for the most part, it is an endless combination um, of genes or bases that you could have there. So a little bit about the structure of DNA today. Biggest thing to know: base pair rule, and that the backbone is made out of deoxyribose and phosphates for the day. All right, everyone have a good one.